How you guys doing? And welcome to another edition of Better Sports News. I am George O, and I welcome once again back from vacation, Chappie.
Hey, how are you? Jeff Chappie Chapman back from assignment in Arizona for a little spring training.
It was great. And look, we've been on the show for what, like 20, 25 seconds. He hasn't stabbed me in the eye yet. I'm feeling real good about this whole show. Anyway.
Don't worry, there's plenty of time for that.
All right, we are smack dab in the middle of March Madness. It's craziness, and the tournament started out about as crazy as it can be, right?
That's right. North Carolina just about went down just now, and we've had a couple of 14 seeds beat 3 seeds already. Several one-point games. You get March Madness, the perfect word for it.
It's the perfect word for it. One of the most controversial right here in Southern California, the UCLA game with the tip there. What's going on there?
Yeah, and a lot of people weren't even happy that UCLA got in the tournament. Now, I did not see that. I actually was working today, George. I heard about the controversial possible goaltend right at the end of the game,
gosh.
correct?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Now, nobody has gone undefeated since 1976, the Indiana team with Quinn Buckner. I mean, Quinn Buckner, that team was great, but there's a chance this year that Kentucky can go undefeated. Chappie, what do you think of that?
I think Kentucky's got a great shot to do it. Obviously, everybody's going to say that, but they could go 10, 12 deep. They play such good defense as well. So even though they might have an off night shooting, they can shut down anybody else. So I think Kentucky has got a heck of a shot since UNLV went in the tournament years ago in the early 90s, and they were undefeated and got beat, I believe, by Duke. Right. But yeah, since 76, the old Bobby Knight, Quinn Buckner days, back when they wore the pinstripes.
Oh, right,
remember
right.
that? Yeah. I'm not an Indiana fan, even though I'm from Indiana. Big Notre Dame fan. So I'd love to see somebody else do it. Not a Kentucky fan either, George, but I think they got a heck of a shot.
Yeah, their defense is just spectacular. So if anybody's going to do it, it's them, and a great weekend, a great whole tournament for betting on basketball. Just fantastic. I know I'm going to put in a few bets next week when I go to the Horse Players World Series. So it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun is if they have a 9-point touchdown. Now, the Colts have said that they want a 9-point touchdown where if they score a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion, they can kick the ball from 50 yards out and get another point. What do you think of this? Is that madness?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, what are we going to do next? We're going to say 2-point conversion, then you kick a 60-yarder, slam a beer, and it's a 10-pointer. I mean, where else are we going to stop this? I mean, that's absolutely ludicrous. It won't go through. But I think I give them points for coming up with creativity.
Some creativity points definitely for them right there. Cowboys kind of creative. They signed Greg Hardy, 1 year, $11.3 million. And, it's still up if he's going to play all year, if he's not, depending on the information they get about his domestic violence charges. What do you think of that whole situation?
I think it was a good sign. I mean, obviously, this guy's got some off-field trouble, so a lot of teams stayed away from him. But you got to realize it's very incentive-laden. This is one of the best premier defensive players in the league. And they really kind of got him for nothing. So it's all based on performance. Sacks, things like that can up his salary up to, I believe, $11.5 million. But they're only on the hook for a few $100,000. I think it was a great sign.
I think it was a great sign. And here's a sign. The Cubs, supposedly, according to Chris Bryant's agent, they don't want to win. They are purposely trying to lose. Is that ludicrous or what?
Scott Boras is out of his mind, folks. Let me tell you something. He represents Chris Bryant, so obviously this is something that he's doing the best for his client. But they're going to send him down for 12 days, and that buys them an extra year of free agency at the end of his contract. And Scott Boras is known, the Cubs have been, in the last few years, locking up a player 3 years into a long-term deal. Boras doesn't do that. He's going to take his player to free agency. So for 12 days, his rookie season, at the beginning of the year when it's cold in Chicago, they get him for an extra year on the back end. So it's a no-brainer. Scott Boras just needs to zip it, because the Cubs are doing the right move. It's, he's making a mountain out of a molehill here.
Okay, well, a molehill almost beat a mountain when Harvard almost beat UNC. It was so close.
I know, we were watching.
I'm sure there's going to be many, many, many more upsets. You guys don't go away. When we come back, we have a special interview with one of our favorites, Brian Carney, right?
Love him.
You definitely don't want to miss that. So stay tuned. We'll be back in 2 and 2. How you guys doing? George O here, and I find myself at Santa Anita in the sports book. So many cool places to hang out at Santa Anita. Look at this artwork behind me with the jockey helmets, so colorful. In here you got great TVs, places to wager, so many cool things at Santa Anita. You gotta, hey Fenix, what's happening?
What do you got here?
Oh my goodness, check this out. It's the Sports Illustrated cover when Stevie Cawthon won the Triple Crown, the last one of the Triple Crowns. It's cool or what?
That's his signature?
That's his signature right there.
Oh my
You know where I got it?
God.
I got it at the Players Challenge. Is that cool? They give away so many of these cool things at the Players Challenge. You definitely want to be a part of the Players Challenge at hpqualified.com. Now, it's a great contest. The top 10 finishers all get money, and they get a lot of money. When we started in 2011, it was only like $150,000. Now it's going to be over $500,000 this year.
Wow.
So you definitely want to be a part of it. That's some big money right there, right? Plus you get all these cool things. Now, the actual contest is worth $11,500, and you could win it through feeder contests throughout the year. And the top finishers get entries into the NHC, the Horse Player World Series, and the Breeders' Cup Challenge. So you definitely want to be a part of it. You start with a $5,000 bankroll. The entry fee is $5,000. Plus you get a $500 certificate for travel. Once you get there, Phoenix, they treat you like a king. Oh my goodness, you get celebrities like Stevie Cawthon there. The food is great, breakfast is great, lunch is great. What do you think I got this? Because the food, I like to eat food. And so the food there is phenomenal. You're gonna have a great time. There's prizes, you get free daily racing forms, free Wi-Fi. They treat you like a king. You definitely wanna be a part of it.
How do we enter? How do they enter?
Oh, let me tell you. Well, you go to hpqualified.com and it'll show you all the contests you can enter to win your way into the Players Challenge. You're gonna love it, and you can take home stuff like this. What? Phoenix, go to hpqualified.com. Phoenix, where are you going? And we are back at Better Sports News, and we're getting ready. One of our favorite characters in the whole track, right?
Yeah, Brian Carney's been a longtime track man, and he has a bar. Well, he just closed down, but a bar right across the street, and I've spent many an evening there, George.
He's a bar owner, he's a horse owner, he's the owner of a great personality. Let's go out to Phoenix with Brian Carney.
Thanks, guys. I have Brian Carney with me today. Now, a lot of people know who this man is. I think I made a huge mistake. Your bar, 100 to 1, everyone talks about it, and I'm like, I'm gonna go. I really wanna go. And now you're closing it.
You missed the closing celebration of the
missed-
100 to 1
Oh,
where the customers
yeah.
were taking stuff out of the front door, the back door, and everything, so they had some memorabilia when they left.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. The 100 to 1 is a legendary bar in the city of Arcadia. We were very fortunate. My wife and I, we had bought it 17 years ago. I had won a pick six, and I always wanted to be in the bar business. My
Really?
uncles were in the bar business back in New Jersey and New York, and I always wanted to be in the bar business. And so I remember I went home that day when I basically had signed the contract, and she had asked me what I had done that day, and I said I did something really crazy, and she said, "Oh God, you bought another horse." I said, "No, I bought a piece of property." And she said, "Well, what's so crazy about that?" I said, "Came with the bar."
Wow.
She said, "You're right, that's crazy." She said, "That's nuts. What do you know about the bar business?" I said, "I know nothing about the bar business, but here's what I do know. I've been going to Santa Anita for 20 years. If you ever saw the movie My Blue Heaven, I always consider myself to be an over-tipper. I said, I got a lot of friends over there, whether it's valet or people that work the food stands or the tellers. I said, I'm going to get a lot of customers from the racetrack." And I went in and I bought that bar, and from the first day I owned it, we made a profit. And we
Wow.
owned it for 17 years. The bar originally was opened in 37. And
So
I'm gonna,
right after we were open.
Yes, right after Santa Anita opened. And believe me, the most famous people in the world come in and out of that bar. I always called it the Great Equalizer, because it was a place where, whether it was a groom or it was Demi O'Byrne, who buys horses for the most wealthy and powerful people in the world, everybody got along in the 100 to 1.
Oh.
Very rarely, almost never any trouble in the 17 years we had it. And we had a lot of fun, and whether, when Breeders' Cup time, it would be an amazing sight to go in there. You'd see Frankie Dettori, Kieran Vallon, you'd see all the top jocks from Europe in there. you'd see our jocks, whether it would be Gary Stevens, Mike Smith, or a lot of the guys
Oh,
from our
cool.
riding colony here, Eddie Delahoussaye, or some of the greats that have the greatest jocks that have ever lived been through those doors. So
Well, you just made me so much more upset that I didn't go. I really wanted to, and then it just, time flies. Why did you close it?
well, the city of Arcadia, unfortunately, there's a terrible traffic intersection there, and the city needed that property to fix the traffic congestion that occurred at that corner. So I own the property and the business, and the city basically gave me an offer that my wife couldn't refuse.
Yes.
I couldn't refuse it either, to be quite honest
Yeah.
with you. 17 years we had a great run, but sometimes things change and you have to move on. And so now it gives me time to spend a little more time with my horses and buy a few more, maybe have a few extra dollars, since the city has put me in a much better position to do
good.
that. So, so I recently acquired a horse out of Florida, but I own I got my 15 minutes of fame in the last few weeks. I ran a horse named Crimson Giant.
Crimson Giant, yes.
I ran him in the Big Cap.
Just
But
last-
just 2 weeks ago. People had asked me, "What, are you out of your mind?" But the reality of it was this is a horse. He was 1 for 67 going into the Big Cap. Now, if you think about that, that's pretty amazing. He's only won one race. But he might be the best horse in the world that's only won one race, okay? Because he started and he tried every time. But his race 2 weeks prior to the Big Cap, he was in an allowance race at the highest level allowance, a 3 other than allowance race. Purse was, for me, was $90,000. And he was 5-horse field. He was 33 something to 1. Nobody gave him a chance at all. And he ended up getting beat a nose. Took him about 5 minutes to decide the winner. And he ran against a grade 2 horse who he basically ran head to head with, put him
Oh,
away.
wow.
And then it took a Jerry Hollendorfer graded stake horse to beat him in the last jump. Okay, so being a person that thinks big, takes risks, said, I'm going to get one chance in my life. So
Of course.
it cost $12,500 to go into the Big Cap. So it wasn't like I was going in for free.
Yes.
But what happened in the ensuing 2 weeks was pretty remarkable. We started getting calls from all over. And my trainer, Charlie Stutz, he's 73 years old. He's had some good horses in his life, but we had more fun the 10 days leading up to the Big Cap than anybody could ever even imagine. We got interviewed by the LA Times. We got interviewed by the Star News. We got interviewed by radio stations, and we took a chance. Now, if you actually watch the race, if you look at the chart, he ran terrible. He got beat 30 1/4 lengths,
Yes.
30 1/2 lengths. But if you actually go watch the race, up to the mile marker, he was 1.25 lengths off the best horses in the world. So he has a distance limitation. And I tried to explain to my son that it can't be disappointing because people who are world champion 400-yard dash people can't run a mile, and people who run a mile can't run a 400-yard dash. So you can still both be champions, but not
That
at
is
the
true.
respective distances. So he lost no luster for me. And, and in horse racing, we have a rule that if you get beat more than 30 lengths, you are required to work for the stewards to show that poor performance wasn't, detrimental to the horse. So I have good news. He worked on Sunday
Good.
by himself. And he worked 59 flat, going 5/8. He came home in the last eighth in 11 seconds. So, needless to say, I don't think we heard him running
Oh,
him in
good.
the Big Cap. So, he's a happy horse, and hopefully you'll get to see him running another week and a half, 2 weeks.
Wow. Well, I definitely can't wait to see that. I am going to keep an eye out for Crimson Giant now. For sure.
It's been we've had a lot of fun in this business, and it's just been great. Anybody, I had a couple of friends out that for Big Cap Day, and they're very well to do and very successful. And the one gentleman I was sort of kidding, and I said, "Doc, there's nothing like it in the world. Your horse takes the lead at the top of the stretch. I don't care what you've ever done in your life. There is nothing that replaces that." And I will tell you, if you ever get somebody to a horse race, and if you get them to own a horse, and it don't matter if it's a $2,500 claimer or it's $1 million horse, believe me, when they take the lead at the top of the stretch and they cross that wire first, there is nothing in the world like it.
I cannot even imagine. Hopefully one day I will, but definitely. Well, thank you for joining us today. This was so informative, and I'm definitely going to look out for that horse.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm going to kick it back to you guys. Ciao.
That was great. We're definitely going to miss the 100 to 1 club, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Brian Carney's quite the character, isn't he, George?
He's great. And, it's true, man. I've owned horses. I've owned horses in partnership. There's no feeling like when your horse wins a race. I mean, that's one of the greatest feelings I've ever had.
Yeah, and Brian obviously is very proud of his horse. Obviously, Crimson Giant, he runs a lot, doesn't win a lot, but he's made a lot of money for him.
Yeah.
More power to him.
One of the best 1 for 68 horses ever to run.
No doubt about it.
All right, don't go away. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about a great contest that we had here at Santa Anita, and we're going to talk about horse racing. We'll see you right after this. It's right around the corner on HPQualified.com. It's the Lucky 7 contest. Fenix, you feeling lucky?
Oh, I'm feeling so lucky anytime it comes to horse racing.
I love it. This contest is one of a kind. They started in 2008, and it's the Lucky 7 contest with 3 rounds. Now, in the first round, it's called the Lucky 7 contest, right? Why?
Because 7 lucky winners are going to win cash prizes in the first round.
That's right. So 7 winners in the first round will get cash prizes. Then 50%, the top half, will move on to round 2. And in round 2, it's the Lucky 7 contest because?
Because 7 lucky winners will win cash prizes in the second round.
That's right. And then in that second round, the top 50%, or half the field, will move on to round 3, the big round. And in round 3, it's the Lucky 7 contest because?
Cash prizes, and they will win chances to enter other tournaments.
Yes,
right,
great
like
tournaments like the Win Contest, the Horse Players World Series, and of course the Players Challenge. So the only way to play in round 2 and in round 3 is to enter in round 1. You can't buy your way into round 2 or 3. So it's a very cool contest. You buy 1 entry fee into round 1, and you can play in all 3 rounds for cash prizes in each round and entries in the final round. It's the Lucky 7 contest. There's feeders all the time to get into that contest. And where can they play that contest?
They can be lucky 7 at hpqualified.com.
And we are back here at Better Sports News, filmed right here at the Sportsbook of Santa Anita. This place is spectacular. The whole racetrack is spectacular. It seems like every week something exciting is going on. Last week was the Santa Anita March Handicapping Contest. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, and really it's gaining a lot of popularity. I think we had over 100 contestants. And you got to give congrats out to Tom Lute and Nate Newby. They put on quite a show, and the people are very impressed, especially anybody who's never been out here. The track is spectacular, and they've really, the amenities and everything, the sports book here, it's unbelievable. People come out, they want to come back, and these tournaments are really gaining a lot of popularity, George.
They really are, and here at Santa Anita, and I think throughout the country in these contests, they really take care of the players. I mean, the players are always, they love the prizes, they love the camaraderie, and they love the feeling of being a VIP. When they were here, we had people in the contest in the front runners. They were having a great time there. They were down in the Eddie Logan room. They were just taken care of. And of course, they had some great prizes to shoot for, and they did. Now, the first place was Stephen Wells. So he got his $2,500 bankroll up to $18,183. That was number 1. And he took prizes totaling $43,183. Now, Stephen Wells, he's not one of these names you hear a lot in the contest, like some of the other guys who finished, like Kevin Garrity. He just made it in 8th to get an NHC spot. Of course, Brett Wiener, one of the best in the country in these tournaments. Gwynn Houston, Bill Sherman came in 3rd. But Stephen Wells qualified for this contest with an $80 buy-in in a small contest. So for $80, and there's sites all over the place, like hpqualified.com. He got it through drfqualified.com. So many cool contests. So for $80, he now has won a package worth over $43,000. Plus he's going to play in the NHC. Plus he's going to play in the BCC. these contests are very, very, very exciting.
You're right. It doesn't take much to get in and win something, and you play against the big boys. And if you have a good day, George, you get hot, anything can happen. And like you said, it's really gaining popularity. And with these qualifier sites, you don't have to buy in for $1,000 in some of these tournaments. $80, look what it got you.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And again, they got treated so well here at Santa Anita now. I usually give my pick 5 picks, but in lieu of what happened last week, you know what? We're gonna go with your picks. I'm gonna go with your picks, and we're gonna go from there. So we're starting race number 1. It's $25,000 claiming race, which to me is some of the toughest, hard-knocking horses in here. They're going on a mile and a 16th. How did you see this race number 1?
Well, George, we're going to be 1 for 1 here, try to build a bankroll because I'm hitting the all button. That's one of my favorite things. It's only a 6-pack here. They're kind of, to me, all the same type of horse. Peter Miller first off the claim with the rail. Gladding, the 2-horse, John Sadler Barn really heating up, but I don't know if you noticed that stat. Plus 160 days. 0 for 45 this barn.
0 for 45.
So I think anything can happen here. We're going to hit the all button to start.
Always the toughest race for me, the $25,000 claimers. They seem like they're always so competitive. A few of them are dropping down, a few of them are moving up. To me, it's the hardest race to handicap.
A lot of hard knockers. They've been around a long time. It's a tough race to handicap.
All right, it gets a little bit easier because they're going 7 furlongs in race 2, $20,000 claimers, so a little less, and I think sometimes not the most competitive races.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to single here. I'm going to go to the outside next door neighbor, Peter Miller, Rockingham Ranch. I know Gary Hartunian, who is Rockingham Ranch. He wants to win this owner's title badly, George.
Oh, okay.
And they keep this horse always gives an honest effort. There's going to be a lot of speed to set him up. He's not going to get claimed because if you go down the paddock, he's not the prettiest looking horse in the world. Okay. He's got a few issues, but he runs an honest race every time. I think this is a good spot for a single here, single in the second leg.
Yeah, he just missed his last time out. Before that, he was 2 for 2. So this is a horse who's hot, who's moving up the claiming ladder from 8,000, now going for 20,000. And sometimes you just got to ride that momentum and keep on winning.
That's right.
All right, race number 3, move on. It's a mile. These are some of the cheapest horses on the track, claiming $8,000 claimers. Very inconsistent horses. How do you see race number 3?
Well, consistency would be the key here, George, like you just said. So I'm going to hit the all button once again. Okay. So we're going to go all single all to start this race. I can't make heads or tails of this race. This looks like it might be primed for an upset, so we're going to buy this race once again.
Can I talk you out of a horse? No, forget it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Don't even bring it up.
Race number 4. Race number 4 is the 35th running of the Pasadena. It's a $75,000 stakes race. They're going a mile on the grass. Tough race. How do you see it?
Tough race. I think I'm going to go 3 deep here, George. I'm going to use the rail, the Sadler horse, who looks like an improving sort. He's never gone 2 turns, but we're going to have to use that. Daddy DT, who I know beat you the last time because you didn't have that horse. I just happen to remember the beats. Right. And Papa Cool.
Oh, he's running good, man.
Changing barns here. A couple different horses are. Papa Cool goes to the Phil D'Amato barn. And the 3, Jazzy Josh, who I thought about using, goes to Baltus. So that's an interesting switch, but we're going to go 3 deep here. Try to keep the ticket semi-cheap. I think those are the 3 logicals, 3 deep in the 4th.
All right, so we're closing it with a maiden special weight. They're going 6 furlongs. A bunch of first-time starters in here and a couple of horses who've shown some promise. How do you see race number 5 to close out the pick 5?
Well, you know, we love the workout reports, the private workout reports, which we don't have as of right now. But I'm going to take an angle here. I'm going to single the 4, Hard Day's Night. Gary Stevens gets aboard. He's getting very hot right now. But the key thing here is we go from an 8% trainer bringing into Jerry Hollendorfer, the king. Jerry Hollendorfer is one of the best trainers on the planet. Yeah. And I think this is an absolute massive upgrade in the trainers category here. So I'm going to take a shot. He's shown speed going long. He ran at Keeneland the last time. Obviously, they thought a lot of this horse. Cuts back. I'm going to single the 4. Hopefully, we're alive. 4 to 1 you're getting, so a square price. Hopefully, we'll make some money and we'll make up for 2 weeks ago's debacle. Right. We'll get on a roll again.
That's his pick 5 ticket. What does it run?
$81.
$81. All right, $81. We wish you the best of luck. Thanks for watching us here. Better Sports News. I want to thank everybody on the set. Jim Patrick, of course, Chappie, Phoenix, Brian Carney, beautiful Ms. Guzman, who did our makeup so we look fantastic, and John Mann, who does a spectacular job editing this show, putting everything together. He's doing a wonderful job. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. No, next week I'm going to be away. I'm going to be going. Horse Players World Series.
So just be Phoenix and I. So enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the tournament. We'll see you next week without Baldy here.